mental telepathy, leprosy, legacy, running through my legs and feet, walking what we preach.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities and Music, back again to review an album that came out, actually this one technically came out in 2010 sometime.
Yeah.
And then was re-released this year. This is MellowHype's Black and White. This is Hodgy Beats and Left Brain from Odd Future Collective, the same collective of these new young, like 18-year-old, is that how old they are?
Yeah, in the range, some of them.
Yeah, they came together as, you know, a bunch of high schoolers, you know, making hip-hop, you know, producing beats on very rudimentary beats on computers and just going to town, and you gotta love that grassroots style, and that's why these guys got so much hype. And so these guys actually made Black and White back in 2010, and then it was re-released this year. Now that Odd Future, I'm sure because Odd Future now, because of Tyler the Creator's success with his first album, and then Goblin, which we reviewed, and then now to have this come back out, I think kind of gave this album a boost. Now I will give this album a little bit of abuse because the fact is that while these guys are really good, I think something that Tom and I both wrote down in our sheets about this album is that, you know, you have those underground kind of beats on a laptop, and these guys throw in these rhymes together, and it's really cool. And like I said, I love the grassroots, but it's just so underdeveloped. These songs need to be worked on and fleshed out a little bit more, and really that kind of is just the most obvious thing that's staring me in the face when I listen to an album like this.
Yeah, so many good ideas on here.
Right.
A lot of them very fresh, very poignant. I mean, like, you can tell that they knew what they were going for with them, but then they just kind of stopped. And I feel like if they had really taken the time to sit there, and once they had what they have here fleshed out, sit there and think, where can we go with this from here to make it more than it currently is? Yeah. Then they would have had something much more expansive. Now, on the flip side, I'm not going to sit and compare this to Goblin. I think that's unfair because it's
completely different.
But at the same time, one point is, I feel like this is a high contrast to Goblin in that regard, because I think in some ways Tyler the Creator on that album almost did what I was just saying too much. Right. He added too much into it, made things too expansive. Well, this is the complete polar opposite, where, you know, you have these very brief tracks, the longest one being a little over 4 minutes, but I think them averaging in the upper 2-minute range. And from there, it's kind of like these little ditties that are kind of enjoyable, but then they're just kind of done, and you're on to the next. And I like them, but yeah, you know,
and two things that really bothered me are actually two tracks right in a row. Tracks 8 and 9, I Got a Gun and Fuck the Police. I thought these tracks were very immature. Yeah. And on Goblin, we also saw immature tracks too that I think detract. I think what more than anything it does is it makes it kind of hard to swallow, because you have these really cool tracks, but these guys are doing stuff that's just way beyond. I mean, you tell me that these guys are, you know, that young and they're doing music that is this high caliber. I'm blown away. And then there's tracks like those two tracks that I just mentioned, and it's just like, okay, this puts it into context.
It's also pretty poor, considering, I mean, everyone knows that Fuck the Police has already been done by NWA back in the late 80s. And I mean, so much of rap these days,
even now.
Yeah, so much of rap these days is rehashed. I mean, even on Jay-Z and Kanye's Watch the Throne, Kanye refers to a Jay-Z track from the Black album, Lucifer. He says the line, murder from the murder capital, where we murder for capital. That's from a Jay-Z song. And it's like, you're on a collaborative album with him. Don't rehash something the other guy already did. Well, here, I mean, it's not like NWA's on that track, but they don't have to be. It's been done, and I feel like, you know, they tread enough new ground here. I don't think they needed to step back onto that.
Right. Yeah, and the beats, I think, are really hit and miss on this album. I think sometimes they're just like the sound is just awesome, and sometimes it's a little thin. And really, other than that though, I feel like they did a good job of establishing mood, and actually the arrangements are quite good too. Yeah. I think that it actually is. There's some of these tracks are very catchy and warrant follow-up listens more than just one or two basic run through of the album to get a feel of it. I mean, I've actually come back to this one once or twice in the 6-week gap that we've taken, and listen to this just for my own kind of understanding of what Odd Future is and where these guys could go, and specifically these two guys I think have a lot of potential, and especially if MellowHype stays as that little duo. I'd really like to see where it goes. It's just a great angsty, dark mood, and an overall just kind of an interesting record to listen to. I want to say I'm glad you picked Circus as the last track. I thought that was a great way to close this album. Very eclectic, shows that the band, or that this group is looking to do more than just the status quo hip-hop release. So kudos to them. I'm going 69 on this one. I did like it. I know we can't avoid comparing it to Goblin. You really can't.
Yeah.
I liked it better than Goblin. I think that this has potential. These guys have potential to do something really cool in the future, so I can't wait to see what they do going forward. 69.
I'm going 68.
Cool. What did you guys think? This has been around for years. Literally, we can say years now. So what did you guys think about this album? What do you think about the re-releasing of it? Is that something that you would like to see more of when it comes to independent artists or artists that get famous maybe after they've released a couple albums? Really interested to hear your opinions on that. Let us know at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. Facebook, Twitter. Kind of want to be on those because we are too. Jake,
Tom.
That's Tom, and we are VIMTV, Movie Music Critique Forward.
She in the grieving, wanna leave, I let her leave. I see the world, it's in my hands. I see these girls.